I guess I can take off my mask. This is June of 2020, and everybody's still wearing a mask and social distancing and COVID-19, and everybody's got to stay away from somebody else 6 foot or more, and you have to wear a mask when you go in places. If you go to a doctor's office, you wait out in your car until they call you in. And there's no visitors in hospitals. There's no visitors to doctors. Everybody's on guard, and everybody's nervous about the disease. And finally, in June 15th or whatever, the middle of June, I think it's the 21st or 22nd, in New Jersey, they're going to loosen up some of the restrictions of outside eating in restaurants and opening beauty shops and barber shops and non-essential retail stores. Because after all, the economy has suffered tremendously. There's no restaurants, no stores, no pizzerias, no Chinese food, Burger King, McDonald's. People out of work. It's a travesty. And then in the news, you have this George Floyd, who was killed by the police officer. The police officer had his knee on his head, his neck, and it's not a police officer's job to punish somebody. It's not a police officer's job to kill somebody. It's not a police officer's job to sentence somebody to a crime. His job is to maybe apprehend somebody safely, to charge them with a crime if they did a crime or if he thought they did a crime, and let the judge and the penal system try the person through proper channels and determine if the person's innocent or guilty. And that's the proper way of doing it. And the problem with the situation is that his higher-ups, the senior management of the police department, should have properly charged the officer right away that what he did was wrong, that he had no right to act that way, that the person was executed by an officer, a helpless person, and that's a travesty. On the other hand, I'll say to peaceful protesters, in the spirit of Muhammad Gandhi, who believed in nonviolence, and he believed that by peaceful means you can cause change, and it was called passive resistance, and it worked. It got England out of the United States, and it got England out of, well, the United States did it with the Revolutionary War, but he got the English to leave India peacefully by passive resistance. And a peaceful protest is fine, but you don't get justice by acting like a criminal, by looting places or being violent. And I think a crime was committed, but it's not the way to justice is to be unjust yourself. You should be the best example of what justice is, not the worst example of what a criminal is. So I do believe that things were handled improperly by a lot of parties, by the police officer who acted improperly, by the department that didn't handle it correctly, and by the protesters who are violent. The peaceful protesters remind me of Mahatma Gandhi, who really believed in passive resistance and protest. I don't have any problem with that, but I'll just put my 2 cents into the situation like a sidewalk lawyer. I'm not an expert, but it's just my opinion.